237 is a Jumperscape audio production. You've entered a place of fear and dread. Welcome to Room 237.
Hello. Welcome once again into Room 237. It's me, James.
And me, Ashton.
And we are on week 3 of Chucky month. Austin says yeah. Well, this week is Child's Play 3, which it's a movie of all time.
It is, in fact, a movie.
I mean, I actually kind of have such a weird love of this movie for no reason, because it's definitely one of the worst ones.
It's not exactly a bad movie. It just is not like a.
It's a bit tired at this point, essentially.
Kinda, yeah.
But kind of a brief synopsis is basically this movie takes place in the future.
Not our future.
Not our future, but in the movies, when the movie came out, it took place in the future because basically while Child's Play 2 was in its pre-release stage, when it was the trailers were coming out, Universal was like, we need you to start writing the next one. And that's why this movie came out 9 months after Child's Play 2, which is absurd. It's rare that
it's really quick.
You see a sequel come out to a movie that fast. And unfortunately, I don't think Don Mancini had enough time to get creative because I shouldn't ask for the shock gum. She likes getting shocked, apparently.
Yeah, it's a problem. I'm not gonna lie, it really is. It's not getting me.
But essentially, if you've seen the last two, the loose, bare bones version of the plot is once again Chucky is back and he has to get out of his body, and he's terrorizing a child to do it. So, but the twist this time is now it is 1998 or 99. So Andy is now 16 years old, and he's at a military school, which is a very interesting decision. I feel like they were like, "Oh, what do I do to mix this up? To make it different." Military school, yeah, that's the ticket right there.
I was just like, okay,
and I kind of like it. I'm like, okay, it's a unique idea. But I'd say if any of these films had the vibe of a Goosebumps movie, this is the one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This feels like a Goosebumps episode, from the original show.
Yeah.
Just rated R, which for me that's a compliment, but it's probably not what was intended.
I don't think so, because so. When the movie started out, I already was sitting there going, why are they trying so hard? Because it feels like this movie is trying so hard, especially in that opening sequence. It's like, let's put a sting here, and then a sting here, and then a sting here. And I was like, okay, can we just stop, please?
Yeah.
You're not building suspense right now. I can tell you that.
I think that's part of the issue with the movie is it's clearly just trying to make it. It's just trying to make a sequel with no real thought of how to progress the story. It just basically said, let's do a time jump. That'll be enough. And set it at a military school. That'll be enough to make it different. This is actually Don Mancini's least favorite of the films, and this is
shocker.
also Brad Dourif's least favorite of the films, which
shocker.
Honestly, it has some of my favorite Brad Dourif like lines, like and so that's kind of shocking. But maybe he really just means as a movie, because I think honestly, his performance in this movie is one of his best, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would definitely say that.
The doll looks weird.
I don't like what Chucky looks like in this movie.
The thing is, we were like spoiled though, because Child's Play 1 and 2, he looks great. When I think about him compared to some of his looks in the later seasons of the TV show and the direct-to-video movies, this actually looks really good. But
he just looks weird. It's not that he looks like badly done or anything. There's definitely lots of detail. It's almost like it's too much detail, though. I think they tried too hard.
Well, this is I read that this was actually the first movie that they were able to use computers to better lip sync the dialogue for the doll.
Mm.
And honestly, when you think back on it, there's really no moments where Chucky's like dialogue does not match up with his mouth very well.
Yeah, we don't have the problem we had in the last movie.
But his cheeks are so poofy.
His cheeks, his eyebrows, his lips, they're all like mega big.
Because like it adds a layer of like, well, when he's alive, he doesn't even look like the good guy doll anymore. Like his face, he just looks off.
Mm-hmm.
Like he looks old, but also like a baby. It's confusing.
Mm-hmm.
But not in the intentional way like the first movie. But honestly, with that being said, that's all I really have to say before we just kind of get into spoilers.
Yeah.
So,
what are our things for this movie?
How many of Colonel Shelton's Paulis shoes out of 10?
I feel like 7 Paulis shoes. I think that's fair.
I'm pretty much right where you are. I'm also at about a 7, maybe a 7.5 of polished Colonel Shelton shoes.
Yeah. Because it's not like it's a bad movie. For me, it doesn't feel like a horror movie, or maybe it was like
For me, it's just that it feels like there wasn't enough effort. It felt.
Or almost,
I don't want to use the word lazy because like the cast does a good job. Like
yeah. For sure.
I think the direction's weird.
Yeah, it's different than the rest of the Chucky movies.
This was directed by, I just looked at his name, Jack Bender, I think is his name. Oh boy, look at me, fake fan.
I need to stop messing.
Yeah,
with
Jack
this.
Bender. Okay, I was right. I'm taking it away from you.
Thanks.
And I do love this movie. This movie does have a little controversy.
Ooh.
The movie was actually this might be a little dark, so we'll only touch on it in a second. This movie is actually connected. You know the James Bulger case?
I feel like I vaguely remember the name. You'd have to.
It was like 2 8 or 9-year-olds abducted like a 3-year-old and they killed him.
Oh yeah.
I think that the connection was debunked, but there's still like a large, like at least in the UK, stigma with this movie. Weirdly enough.
Oh.
Because I think they just found this movie like on their shelf or something. Like The Killers. So
I don't think this movie would inspire anybody to kill.
No.
It is not even close to dark enough for that. Actually, I would put any of the other Chucky movies we have watched and say maybe those could have, but not this one.
No. Well, I mean, I guess I can see it because the kids are so young that did it, that like they're more, I don't know, impressionable, but I don't think it's very fair.
No, I don't think so.
But yeah, so
I would definitely say, especially the last Chucky movie was much more violent.
Oh yeah, it was later determined that neither of them had actually even seen the movie.
There you go.
The tabloids picked it up and
And ran with it, of course.
So that kind of sets up like the legacy of this movie, though. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's definitely what I would call the forgotten Chucky movie. It's the one that gets talked about the least. Like, I've barely found any behind the scenes footage of this movie, like in my time as a fan, and the only place I've found like it get talked about by like Don is like one single interview where he talked about it like in retrospect, and that's how I even knew that it was his least favorite.
I feel like the thing that feels wrong about this movie is it feels like a teenage kind of rom-com-y kind of
Yeah, it's
thing.
That's
very
what
YA.
it
is.
is.
Yes, it's very young adult. That's why it sorry, I choked on mucus. It feels like that's what it is. It feels like this is a movie made for the CW or something like that. Like, the violence really doesn't match the violence we've seen in the last couple ones.
Yeah.
It's not funny enough to be like a horror comedy, I don't think.
No.
And it, like, the storyline is just very young adult.
It is.
Like, it's giving me reading Divergent. That's exactly what it's giving. Because with the boot camp and capture the flag, this is horror Divergent. This is crazy.
We're moving on now. So yeah, movie opens with the factory from the
This
second
is a
movie.
cool shot. It definitely aged really fast, apparently. It also got
Yeah.
smaller.
Yeah, I think it might take longer than 8 years to be covered in cobwebs and broken windows, but maybe I'm wrong. You know, I do live near Cleveland, so I've seen some factories that
Yeah.
probably look like that.
Yeah. I feel like the cobwebs are more believable, and I guess the broken windows if people tried to break in and stuff, but the fact that it definitely is a smaller building throws me off.
And also the implication that after Child's Play 2, like, they just closed the factory.
Right, like right away. Right, they just
They
stopped
didn't even
production
clean it up
that night.
They didn't even pick up at anything or sell
also,
the factory.
they stripped all the paint apparently too, because
Yeah.
there was no color, not even like faded color. It was just brown in there.
But fun fact, and maybe if I remembered this, I would have showed it to you beforehand. This was actually a complete reshoot of the original Child's Play 2 ending. Originally, the Child's Play 2 ending was gonna end with Chucky's body getting picked up by the crane, and yeah,
His carpet body.
yes, he's a carpet now.
Yeah, he's a little bloody rug.
But so a crane comes and picks up the old Chucky plastic slob blob thing, his remains, and it drips blood into a pool of plastic. And I guess they just, without cleaning, started resuming production.
Right, that's what I was thinking too.
But, we don't think too hard here, okay?
We can't put too much thought into the first shot of this movie.
Because if you did, you'd come to the conclusion that, shouldn't there be multiple Chuckies?
Mm-hmm.
Because that was the original idea, but they didn't have the budget.
And that would have gotten complicated.
Well, you'll see.
Oh no!
Not on Chucky month, unfortunately.
Okay, that's fine with me.
It happens much later, but
That's
spoiler alert.
So that's something conquerable by a TV show if it's on the TV show.
Yeah, well, it happens in the last movie,
Mm-hmm.
and then it carries to the TV show.
So that's too many storylines to encompass a movie.
Yeah. Well, they all end up at the same place.
Well, that helps.
And it's
That
honestly,
helps.
it's great.
Oh God!
I love it.
Oh God!
Think of multiple Chuckies and they're talking to each other.
God,
It's
no!
great.
Oh my God!
But I think it overstayed that I'm talking too far ahead. This is for next Chucky month if that happens, But so we then cut to a board meeting where they decide to briefly sum up the plot of the last two movies.
Yep.
Very briefly, like literally, all this guy does is he goes up. He goes, "This is Andy Barkley. He claimed his doll was possessed by Charles Lee Ray. any questions. Like, that's pretty much all he says.
He goes, no one cares about Andy Barkley anymore. And I went, I care about Andy Barkley. I care.
Like, if this was the modern day, a month could have passed and he would have been right.
That's so true. That's so true.
But I kind of like the idea of Chucky becoming like an urban legend. Like, you know, people are like, the good guy doll shut down. Some people think it's because it stopped selling well, but really, maybe one came alive. Like, I could totally see YouTubers
I could
like
see
talking
the YouTube
about it.
like Wendigoon, like
just picturing.
Hey everybody. Today we're gonna be talking about the conspiracy of the good guy doll. Yeah, today we're talking about Chucky.
So the thing that's weird is the mother she kept claiming she remained her claim that the doll was alive, while the boy, he rescinded it in court. Like, you know, just talking about
Right.
maybe it's real.
But then it would have become a government conspiracy as well.
It probably would have.
Like that the government put like some sort of spy into the doll and it like messed with their minds or something.
Thank you, Wendigoon. You would do a great job in Chucky universe.
He totally would. Can we have, if they make another Chucky movie, could we have just it open with a Wendigoon style YouTube,
Dawn, please.
like
Dawn.
YouTuber doing the conspiracy?
If Smiling Friends can have the nostalgia critic on it, like
That would be great. Like turning it into a whole conspiracy thing, and
like
then
Scream had Dead Meat podcast.
I don't
cameo.
know that yet.
You haven't seen it yet.
I haven't watched past Scream 4 because I heard what happens in Scream 5, and I refuse to watch it.
For now.
I refuse to watch it. I refuse.
For now.
Everyone is alive and well. That is alive and well by the end of Scream.
You know,
4.
I might just make her watch it later. Today.
No, not happening. Not happening.
But anyway, we then, like, you know, they're like, here's the first good guy on the off the shelves, and like, it's Chucky, and the CEO takes him home as a present, and
not even home. He's just in his office.
no, it's his high rise. He had a high rise.
Oh,
Yeah. But
what a lonely man.
he is lonely. Well, he had a picture of his grandchildren on his desk
Yeah,
as he was getting strangled.
yeah.
Speaking of which, Chucky like sets up like a fucking Rube Goldberg machine, like to like to like just trigger a bunch of toys to like scare him, I guess. It goes on forever.
This is where I thought they were trying too hard, because even before that part goes on forever, the part with the guy just like settling down into his apartment and watching TV or whatever goes on forever. And every time he makes a move, there's a little music sting, like he's about to get stabbed or something. And you're like, no, he's not. Like, we haven't even seen, oh, now Chucky's out of the box. Oh no. Can we have another sting for that, please? Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
And it's a shame because, like, I think they should have kept the Play Pals toy like company as like a tertiary bad guy, because like the original intent of Child's Play and its messaging was supposed to be a bit more like anti-capitalism.
Yeah.
Like literally in this movie, because Don Mancini's dad was like, he was in marketing, and often with like he would hear children referred to as consumer trainees. And this guy literally uses that term in this movie. And I just feel like it'd be interesting if they just kept that going. Like, you know, maybe they know that the Chucky thing is real and they just try and keep covering it up.
Well, because that's kind of where they were going in Child's Play 2, is like something was obviously wrong with that doll. They send him home with the one guy, and they would have figured out something was wrong with that doll. They should not, like, they kept that bad guy. Oh, something's wrong with this doll. Just hide it, and we'll
Stick it up your ass.
Yeah, but this one, it's more just like, here's the doll. Here's a new doll.
Here's a character we set up in the last movie. Let's kill him. I guess to kill a recognizable face, I guess.
Oh, was that the guy?
That was the same guy.
Movie?
Yeah, it was the same guy, the same CEO from the last movie.
Oh, I didn't even.
I mean, yeah, he could be anybody.
I would not recognize him from Adam.
But so Chucky uses a computer, which is a funny image.
It really is.
Old 90s computer.
And that's where you start to see that Chucky looks weird because in his reflection, it's like...
He just smiles weird. Like it's big, but not even in the unsettling way. He looks like... No, he looks like a first grader, like when they smile for their school picture and they don't know how to smile right. They just go...
Yeah, kind of.
Like they're straining, He
just looks weird. I don't like what Chucky looks like in this movie, and it pulls me out pretty bad.
But, apparently it's just as easy as him going... Andy Barkley in the computer, and he finds out it just says Kent Military School. I
guess that's an implication that they have records on Andy Barkley.
That's a good point. I guess I didn't think of it that way.
They keep
because that, I guess that definitely wasn't Google he was on.
No, definitely not.
It was a black and green hacker screen looking thing.
Yeah, I guess that gives us the implication that the toy company is keeping tabs on Andy Barkley to see what the fuck he's up to.
But then we meet Andy Barkley, who's
Is that
played
why
by...
he didn't stay in a foster home?
Why?
Because the toy company kept him from staying in one place for too long.
I think he just probably turned into he probably just ended up like Kyle.
Conspiracy theory.
I don't know.
I think it's a great conspiracy. I think I did a great job.
Ashton, you're right. You're just right. Okay. But anyway, we meet Justin Whalen, who's playing Andy Barkley this time around because Alex Vincent is still only 10 and they needed a 16-year-old.
Which makes me sad. I was like, oh, grown up Alex Vincent. Not grown.
Because he does look like Alex Vincent.
I think I went, is that Andy?
Yeah, because if you know what Alex Vincent looks like when he's older, that's not him. Mm. But if you don't, you can buy that's what he looks like.
Oh, I could buy it for sure. But in that first shot, I'm expecting a grown up, an exact I don't know. I was hoping to see grown-up Alex Vincent, and I don't even know what that looks like, but I knew that wasn't this kid.
Nah.
He's buyable as Andy. That's not me saying that they didn't do a good job casting. He's definitely buyable, but I just was sitting there I went, is that Andy?
And there's some interesting actors that were considered for this role, including Jonathan Brandis and Skeet Ulrich. Who is known for Billy from Scream.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine he'd be a little younger at the time, so he probably would look closer, but that would have been interesting.
Skeet.
And then, but there's an even wilder casting thing that I found that we can that I will get to later.
Okay.
But I lost my train of thought.
Oh, that's okay. So, yeah, after the strangulation of our least favorite CEO, we get to meet our good friend Andy Barkley, and he's on his way to Kent Military School. He's on the bus, and when he gets there, he's getting a whole rundown from the colonel who runs the place, and he's like, why didn't you stay in any homes? Why didn't you? Blah, blah, blah.
And he's just like,
Andy's just like, I don't know.
And he's like, I can read, Barkley. It's like, well, then okay? Why are you
hounding him? Are you looking for an explanation for what is he supposed to say? Oh, they didn't like me?
I guess Colonel Cochran just wanted to lay down the law of none of this silly doll talk in my military school. We turn bedwetters and turn them into men. But then we get to meet the greatest character of all time. And that is Sergeant Botnick, the the barber.
Weird.
The weirdest
weird
character
I have never
ever.
seen anyone have such a hard-on for hair.
The first line we hear him say is he's shaving this kid's head. His name's Tyler. He's also important, but, we haven't met him yet. And he just goes, "Oh, yes. We're seeing some skin now, aren't we?" Oh, my God.
It was so bad. I don't like this guy.
But funny enough, two other actors that were notably almost cast for this role was Gary Busey, which that would have been great, but also I think it was perfectly cast because this guy is having the time of his life. And also Robert Patrick, who's also known as the T-1000 in Terminator 2.
Huh. Interesting.
But honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, this guy was kind of funny.
Because who was he played by? I had his name in my head. And it's gone. Andrew Robinson.
Andrew Robinson.
He is great. He is so weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I remember hearing it get talked about by Don Mancini in that same interview. I don't think he was written to be like that. He was written to be pretty much just a barber. And then the guy just like kind of brought that to the character.
Have we checked this guy out? Is this does he have is there allegations against him?
I don't know.
Cuz that's an interesting thing to bring to your character. I feel like an interesting, very weird thing that I don't think someone who doesn't have other weird things going on in their mind thinks of.
Well, like, I think what makes him so jarring in this movie is, much like the last one, this movie still is trying to play it pretty straight, It's like, it's still like all these other characters are not like parodies of themselves, and like they're not like comedy characters.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Except like Chucky. Like Chucky's
Right.
the absurd part. But then there's this guy who I'd say is like hamming it up 10 times more than even Chucky is.
Yeah.
And it's like, he has his little catchphrase, "Presto, you're bald." Like, and none of them are ever fucking bald.
They're not.
They have a buzz cut at most and a crew cut most of the time.
Yeah,
like,
for real. Most of them have so much hair on their head. I'm like, this is definitely not a military school.
Like, it's terrible because when he does cut Andy's hair, like he says the "Presto, you're bald," and Andy has like more hair than anyone else. Like in the school, like he still has this like really big like flat top going on.
They all do. Like literally every kid in this school who's not like definitely brought in just to be a background guy all have a good amount of hair on their heads. It's weird. It's like they were like, this is a military school, but also these kids have to be hot, which
And
is part of why it feels like a teen movie.
And I'm skipping ahead like a lot, but later when he's going through the cafeteria and he's like pulling kids' hair and he's like, "You, Monday." And
Yeah.
he's like getting pretty shaggy, "Tuesday." For some reason, Whitehurst, the nerd character we will meet in a second, he has the shortest hair out of all of them
Yeah.
that he grabs, and he's like, "You're coming right after mess."
I don't think
This
he
is
likes
disgusting.
his curly hair. I don't think he likes his curly hair. It's because he's got the curls going.
But yeah, speaking of Whitehurst, Andy starts getting settled in his house, his room,
Uh-huh.
and is like banging on the door, and it's kind of like a suspense moment, like, oh, Chucky's in his closet.
I did not
Ashton thought something else was going on in the closet.
I did not think Chucky was in the closet. I had come to the conclusion that Chucky was going to mail himself to the school already. So I was like, that's not Chucky in the closet. I know I'm supposed to think it's Chucky in the closet. And I looked at James, I went, are there people having sex in there?
And I'm like, no.
That's the vibe this movie was giving off.
No, it's just Whitehurst. He's tied up in there, and that's how we find out that we have like little mini R. Lee Ermey apparently, because he's like, it's Shelton. That's who. Also,
Shelton is obviously not that bad either. His character doesn't match the thing that happens first in this movie.
Stay close, stranger. The room awaits you after these messages.
like the tying him up thing.
Yes, his character does not match that whatsoever.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I feel like they're like, well, we need to establish that Shelton's like, a bully.
Right, but they also don't want to go too hard on it or something.
I guess because like you never see him do anything. Yeah, like I think later he like knees Andy in the stomach. But honestly, that's a small price to pay for him. He got punched in the face right before that.
Right.
So,
like
and he complimented his punch too. He's like, he's punch, Barkley.
He's just like he's their colonel. He's their commander. He's their drill sergeant. Like
he's acting like a drill sergeant most of the time.
He acts like a drill sergeant most of the time.
Pretty tame one at that,
actually,
honestly.
Yeah.
like
and like it's just like, cause like, right, like not right after this, but pretty close after the. No, it is right after this. The next scene is where they do their
formation,
and he's like, "Oh, you're the new kid," and I was ready for him to say some stupid shit and like bully the shit out of him there, and he doesn't.
He just kind of, the new kid obviously doesn't. He does it in a very drill sergeant way because Andy's just like, "Yeah, I am the new kid." Like he's like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Barkley." Like he's not saying yes sir, no sir. Like. Yeah, I guess if this wasn't a military school, he'd be a bully.
But this is a military school.
This is clearly his job. Like
he's doing his job and he's doing it very nicely. Like honestly, I think most drill sergeants, in this type of situation, would have totally taken the bait to be like, my name is Sergeant whatever, and you drop and give me 25, and like bully the shit out of him. But no, he's just like,
he just gets him to yell loudly and say sir.
Yeah, that's all he does. That's all he does. And then he fucks with the other guy for a minute, and that's kind of bullying.
Yeah, well, I think the main thing is they just be bullying Whitehurst a lot.
Yeah, he just doesn't like Whitehurst. Like the thing is,
because Whitehurst is a whiny baby.
Yeah, Whitehurst has a background. I feel like Whitehurst's parents are rich and they didn't want to deal with their kids, so they sent him to military school.
Yeah,
and so he knows he can't leave, but he has to, he doesn't want to do it, and he's bad at it. Like, and so everyone else hates him.
So I just get the vibes that we're not getting the full picture here. Okay.
No, I think he's a good. I think
he's a good guy.
Hot take. I think he's a good guy.
I think he deep down is just trying to do his job so he can have a good career.
He just has a really bad vendetta against Whitehurst. But it still doesn't make sense that he tied Whitehurst up in his own closet. That just sounds totally out of character for him.
And I think the problem is all of this that we are saying is because they didn't go far enough when they meant to.
Yeah.
Because I think he is meant to be that bad and he's meant to be basically power tripping tyrant. But he just more comes off as honestly a pretty tame drill instructor.
Right.
For at least for movie standards. I don't know what it's actually to go to be at boot camp.
I feel like it's more like this. I feel like that's a pretty good expectation.
Because he is no R. Lee Ermey in Full Metal Jacket.
He does try to be. But he's not nearly that cruel. Because he's giving drill sergeant from Forrest Gump.
He never holds his hand out and just goes, "Now choke yourself."
Yeah, he's giving the drill sergeant from Forrest Gump. That's the kind of drill sergeant he gives off.
I love that guy.
I love that guy too.
You were the best goddamn soldier I've ever seen.
Drill sergeant.
Why did you put that weapon together so quickly, Gump? Because you told me to, drill sergeant.
Because you told me to.
I'm fucking standing.
Like that's
You must have a
that's what it feels
goddamn
like.
IQ of 160.
Nope.
Oh man. Your Mrs. Gump, your son got an IQ down here below 70.
You must have a goddamn IQ.
Of 160. You are going to be a general someday, Gump.
No.
Um,
Please, God, no.
But I do that's why I kind of like, I do like the vibes. I don't know why.
Well,
I think it is that goosebump young adult vibe. I'm like, this is
it's
unique.
the young adult, because that's what I was going to say. That's what
There wasn't a lot of that in the genre at the time, I don't think. Like,
that's what the character feels like. He feels like an incomplete bully character. And it's very much the bully character that you're supposed to, like, in the end of the series, start liking. And then he's going to die or something. I don't know. Something's going to happen. He's either going to die or end up a love interest. And you don't know what's going to happen either way.
His head is fully in the game. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, he's like,
it's like if you were watching a CW TV show, he would have that moment where he's sitting down with the main character and he's like, I'm really not that bad, you know, as he's like wrapping up a wound or like giving someone a Band-Aid or like, or they have to share the same bed or something.
why am I now picturing Andy like with like a scrape on his knee and he's just like putting a Band-Aid on. I'm really not that bad, you know.
It's just
I just want you all to succeed.
Yes. That is the vibe I get from this guy. Then why do you bully Whitehurst so bad? I just hate that rich motherfucker. Like, that is the vibe I get from him.
Here's the thing. This is going to go over your head, but some of our listeners, they're going to know. It gives me Sarge vibes from Red versus Blue, okay? Because, spoiler alert, if you've not watched the last season of Red versus Blue, please skip ahead like 30 seconds. I'll be quick. When Sarge dies, and he finally tells Griff he was only so hard on him because he knew he could be better, and he just wanted him to see how good he could be. I'm like, that's the vibe I'm getting, okay? Is that he just wants them to be as good and as successful as he's been up to this point.
This is what I feel like. Here's the thing. I think if a lot of people our age would have interacted with someone like this, they would have been like, they're a bully, they're the worst, blah, 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 blah. Because when I was in dance, my ballet teacher was Russian. And so she would yell and like, you know, be like, your butt's out, your stomach showing, whatever. But that's only in the classroom. This woman was my second mother. I loved her. And the only reason she ever yelled at us or was hard on us was because she wanted us to be good dancers. But you would not understand how many people do not get that. It angers me. There are people who are like, my brother knows a couple of girls who were younger than me who went to my dance school. And they're like, she was so traumatizing. I'm so traumatized by my time there. And I'm like, girl, first of all, she was Natalia's favorite. So I don't give a shit what she has to say. And she only went to dance there after Natalia got nice. I'm not kidding. There's a time period where Natalia was hard ass and I still loved her. And then she got remarried and became really, really nice all of a sudden. Like, was still pretty harsh, but was like, as soon as class was over, would be like, I'm so sorry for yelling. Like, I love you guys. You guys are all pretty perfect dancers. Blah, 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 blah. Motherly loves type stuff. And this girl is like, I was traumatized. I'm like, girl, you were traumatized. They used to put push pins underneath my butt when I was doing pull-up exercises at the bars so that I wouldn't go down. They'd move them. We were all okay.
Whoa. I was like on board, and then that kind of caught me off guard.
They stopped doing that by the time she joined the dance studio. So like,
yeah. Well, Shelton never puts push pins under people's butts.
Yeah, because he's even nicer than Natalia. Love you, Natalia.
But anyway, this is a Chucky movie. he's here now in a box. Little Tyler, little boy we met at the barber office chair room.
Yeah, in the barbers.
At the barbers. He's supposed to go give the package to Andy because it's addressed to him.
And the way this movie is so predictable.
Well, the second you see this shape of the box.
No, even before that, I saw him go up to because I was already thinking, how's Chucky going to get here? Oh, he's going to mail himself because he's not an idiot. And
it becomes a staple.
Yeah.
He does just start mailing himself places.
I really just knew that was going to happen. And he goes to get mail from his dad, and we get a little sad Tyler backstory where they're like,
your dad's in jets defending the country. He'll mail you soon.
Yeah, like, I hope Tyler's dad's okay.
I hope his dad's not,
dead.
Shot down over Grenada. Like,
but he goes up, he waddles himself up there, and I was like, oh, they're either gonna give him Andy's package to get to Andy, and he's gonna go, oh, this is a good guy doll, and immediately open it for himself, or he's gonna see the package sitting there and then sneak in and go, oh, it's a good guy doll, and open it himself. And I was right.
I feel like Andy would have seen the shape of the box and immediately been like,
burn it. Burn it.
Trash compactor.
Burn it. Put it through fire. He would start taking a knife and just stabbing it. Like,
genius.
Because that is kind of what he does when he first sees Chucky. He just like
chooses violence.
He just starts violently attacking him.
Now I'm laughing in my own head, thinking about Andy just starts stabbing the box, and you just muffled hear Chucky going, like inside the box.
You missed my heart. You missed my heart.
You gotta hit me in the heart, Andy. Oh God.
You're not gonna last a day at this military school if you can't even get me in the heart.
The heart.
In the heart.
In the heart.
In the heart.
But yeah, so of course he drops the package down the stairs, and he sees the good guy label kind of coming through a little bit, and he's like, time to steal someone's mail.
It's like, it's a good guy doll. And why the fuck does Andy Barkley need a good guy doll anyway? My good guy doll now.
Exactly. Also, this kid is also too old. He's like 9. I feel like he's a little too old to be excited about a good guy doll. And I said while we were watching the movie, I was like, okay, if this is supposed to be the late 90s, then like he has Pokemon to worry about. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Granted, they can't tell the future that Pokemon would take off in the late 90s, but
like I feel like in the concept of just like this series, like how old is Andy in the second movie?
He's also 9.
So he would have also been expected to like a good guy doll. I mean, people still like, I feel like good guys were more like,
they were definitely for younger kids. Like
they were, but
5,
I feel
6
like
years old.
I feel like they could have grown up with people. I mean, especially because you could just like,
It only says 3 sentences.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I mean,
it's not
hard.
bad enough
It's
that
hard
it takes you
'cause
out of it.
It's hard because they have him playing a video game the whole time too.
Well,
so it's like he feels too old, I feel like, because we already know the concept of video games is there.
Yeah.
Because without the concept of like video games, I mean, kids had action figures for a really long time. It would have been like just a great big action figure.
But that would be okay. Picture if I was 9 years old and still played with a Teletubby.
I don't know. I played with Barbies until I was like 14.
Barbie's
so.
different than Teletubbies.
I mean, I guess.
Or like say I was 9 years old and I still was like, I want the thinking chair from Blue's Clues for Christmas. That's a little too old.
I want the thinking chair from Blue's Clues.
See, now
Christmas.
I'm an adult and I want a thinking chair from Blue's Clues. But there's that sweet spot where, you're too old. Like, it's just not your demographic
Well, and you
anymore.
also can put in perspective, too, that he's probably been in this military school since he was really little.
Probably.
He's probably been it seems like he's very well known to all of the upper like
he's basically lived here his whole life.
Yeah,
probably.
his dad's been in the military. They put him in military school to raise him because his dad is gone. And so he really hasn't had a chance to have toys like a good guy doll or something like that. So I feel like it doesn't feel off to me. Maybe it's just because of the character. Maybe because his character feels young like that.
Well, I have a possible kind of explanation or excuse coming up here that I just thought of.
Okay.
So he brings Chucky to the armory to open him. The armory of all places.
Yeah. I literally, he's walking down to the armory and I sighed and I put my head in my hands.
Yeah. I mean, nothing happens armory-wise.
No, it doesn't. But
I think it's to establish the armory exists and it's right there, as a set and like a place.
Right.
Because it's important later.
Yeah.
But Chucky just bursts out of the box and he says what I was thinking. He's like, tampering with the mail is a federal offense. Like,
great line.
But I guess here's my thought. If Chucky was just a good guy doll, what probably would have happened is Tyler probably would have played with him for like 20 minutes and then got bored and moved on. But all of a sudden, this one can talk intelligently to him. That's crazy. Like, so I think that can also explain why he's so enamored with it, like throughout the whole movie, because it's alive, essentially. But Chucky has this revelation after like meeting Tyler, because he's still going there to try and transfer his soul into Andy. That's still his goal up to this point. But he's like, and this is back when these movies had rules. He's like, wait. He's like, I have a new body. It doesn't have to be Andy. It'd be so much easier to just tell this kid to, lay down, like basically.
Yeah, right?
So he reveals his true identity to this kid, and he's about to do it. And once again, oh no, someone walked in.
Yeah.
But I love this line because Colonel Cochran, like, he's like, we don't he's like we don't play with dolls here, boy. Like, and he's just like, I'm gonna go throw them away now. And then Chucky and like his like good guy voice just goes, I'll be back. But this is kind of the lead into Colonel Cochran. He's taking Chucky to he's not even throwing him away. He's throwing him straight to the garbage truck.
Right.
But Andy's learning drill, like drills outside.
Yeah.
And he sees a good guy doll being carried by Colonel Cochran, and pretty fair assumption that, oh my God, there's no way there's just randomly a good guy doll here. That's Chucky.
I agree with that, because like Foley is just like, oh my God, Chucky found me. And it's like, this is the place Chucky would find you, Andy. You're so correct.
Because you're on record.
Right.
You gotta live off the grid, Andy.
Technically been on record the whole time.
Yeah, but you gotta go off the grid, Andy.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of does later.
And he doesn't have it, like, there's no other reason for a good guy doll to be here. Too is the other thing. There's kids, but they're not really allowed to have toys. I guess for some reason Tyler gets to have his video game, but
yeah. So Andy has his second PTSD moment of the movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Because earlier there was a commercial for the good guys coming back on TV, and that triggered him a bit.
Yeah, that's for sure. And that also might be why he really is so triggered for this thing, because he got triggered by being nervous and getting his hair. So he was gonna get his hair cut up. He was nervous, and so then he saw that good guy dolls were coming back. And now he sees a good guy doll, and he's like, "It's Chucky. It's gotta be Chucky. It's gotta be Chucky. It's gotta be Chucky." You're right, Andy.
It is.
Listen, listen to your thoughts.
But unfortunately, I don't know why I said unfortunately. But Chucky gets thrown in the garbage can, And God, he's a genius. He just starts going, "Mister, help me. I'm stuck."
Yeah, like this was the right thing to do here, Chucky. Good job.
But you know, he takes advantage of this man's kindness and just crushes him in the garbage can.
Yep.
In the garbage truck thingy, in the trash compactor, whatever it is.
There's a Dianoga in there.
Yeah. What? Oh, from Star Wars.
Dianoga.
I was like,
Dianoga.
huh? Oh. Chucky is the Dianoga.
He is the Dianoga.
This is actually the first prequel to Star Wars.
Forget that it was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. The Dianoga is actually from Earth. Is Chucky.
Never mind. This is a sequel.
No.
But so yeah, now someone's dead, so it's definitely Chucky.
Yeah.
Like, at least if you're Andy, you know, and you're immediately skipping to this conclusion. But
yeah, because he crushes the trash guy. He gets out of the trash, the fucking garbage truck, and he pulls the lever. And
you know something I'm just realizing as we're talking now? A lot of story beats in the beginning that we are like able to transition to. The middle third of this movie is just a scene pack. Like, it's just a pack of scenes put together. Like, the plot doesn't really move that much in the middle of this movie.
Yeah.
It's just like Chucky goes here, Andy goes there. Chucky goes here, Andy goes there.
Yeah.
Like, until the war game starts.
Yeah, that is partially why the movie doesn't feel right.
Because like we're about to get choppy, so I think I'm just gonna kind of rush through the middle of this movie.
Yeah.
But essentially, yeah, Chucky confronts Andy in his room, and we'll add this to the list of Chucky wasting fucking time because he could have just not interacted with Andy, but he had felt the need to kill Andy before transferring his body.
I think this is like, that's supposed to be the thing with Chucky. Like, that's supposed to be his fatal flaw, is that he can't let go of things. So he can't just like.
But he could kill Andy as Tyler.
I don't think that's revenge for him. I think he has to kill Andy first until he has to give up on it.
Well, because the reason he gives is like, I'm not going to let you get in the way of it, you know,
right.
Like. But I guess maybe that's just what he told himself.
No, I think that's just what he told himself. I think this is Chucky's fatal flaw, is that he can't let go of shit.
Oh, but like, it's just funny because like he goes in there to say a couple one-liners, be racist for one sentence.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's not that bad.
It's actually like
he just says Chucky's gonna be a bro. Like,
yeah,
I didn't mention up this point, but Tyler's black.
Yeah,
it's
definitely like the least racist thing you could say.
It's still like, why'd you need to say that? Chucky does something questionable in every movie. Last movie, it was tying Andy up and gagging him like that. The first movie, it was I got a date with a 6-year-old boy, and this one is probably actually the least bad of all of them. Chucky's gonna be a bro. Granted, he does like kill people, and that's probably worse than saying suspect things. But
yeah, it's definitely, like I said though, it's definitely the least racist comment he could make there.
Yeah.
Probably deleted line was Chucky's gonna be a.
No, I doubt it. I doubt it.
I don't doubt it.
I doubt it.
I don't doubt it. Bro is the PG word.
Anyway, Andy looks like a psycho because Shelton walks in on him beating up a good guy doll.
Yeah, he's literally just throwing, like, taking Chucky by the shoulders and fucking pounding him on the floor.
I love, like, before this happens, I love when Chucky throws Shelton's shoe and it just hits him and Chucky just goes, ah! Like, it just falls back. Like, he just, oh, God. But, yeah, Andy looks crazy. You know, it's kind of, if you get secondhand embarrassment from people looking crazy,
Yeah.
This whole franchise is not for you.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Like, I get it too, but like not bad enough to like not just get
in
through
these. Like, because these movies are less like realistic. Do I get secondhand embarrassment from things like Joker or like awkward like teenage rom-com movies? Yes. There are certain movies I cannot watch because of the secondhand embarrassment.
This is a quick side tangent. My least favorite trope in movies is the liar revealed plot. Think like Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah.
When the main character lives a lie for like
Because
half the movie. I can't stand.
It's so nerve-wracking.
I can't stand that moment when like it's revealed. You know what I mean? And like everyone's like, "We hate you." Like, I'm just like, it's so like, I can't stand watching someone just do that to themselves. It's like, stop it. Stop lying.
Yeah.
Like, so I guess this is the opposite of it, of chronic liar is right, is
Right.
how these movies go. Is not a liar, at least, is what I mean. But, so and then wild goose chase after this because Shelton's like, oh, I'm going to give this doll to my kid sister.
Yeah.
You know, like waves goodbye with the arm, which is adorable.
Yeah, for sure.
But, and then here's another part where like Andy looks bad and Shelton responds pretty normal, all things considered. Because
Yeah, for real.
Andy goes to Shelton's room to kill Chucky. And I love this. Like he's looking under the bed and he looks up and Chucky's behind him and Chucky just goes, Andy. Like this scares him enough to jump into Shelton's bed. And here's the thing. Shelton wakes up with Andy in his room holding a knife and he responds pretty reasonably.
Yeah, very
He just pins him up
reasonably.
against a wall and he's like, the hell are you doing in here?
Right.
Like, where's the doll? And like, he's like, you took it, didn't you? And it's like, and like the thing, he's like, no, I didn't. And like, he doesn't not believe him immediately because
Right.
you just kind of go, well, someone sure as hell took it
Well, right. And like,
because it's gone.
where is it though?
'Cause,
Because
like-
Andy's still in your room and the doll isn't. So
So he's the least likely.
actually, yeah.
But so yeah, they all have to go outside and run in circles, I guess.
Yeah.
And I like that this shows like there's no cruel and unusual punishment because Colonel Cochran comes outside and he's like, what's going on here? He's like, we're trying to weed out a thief, sir. He's like, okay, make your point, but make sure they all come back in by like 1.
Yeah.
And like, it's like, okay, we only have till 1. So let's make it a little worse. Put your hands in the air, guys. Like,
Higher. Higher.
but yeah. So meanwhile, Tyler is, making Chucky play hide and seek, inside.
Thank God for Tyler being a little rascal.
I know he like comes around the corner. He comes around like the hallway. And he's just like, Charles. Chucky turns around with the biggest fucking knife that he's like anyone could pick, and he's standing there, and then like Tyler definitely looks at him while he's holding the knife,
Yeah.
and he goes, "Come and get me!" Like, hello. Is that not fucking scary?
I love that Tyler, not on purpose, totally fucks with Chucky so bad.
I know. Like, well, this goes into like the he's too old and acting too young thing. Because Down Mancini did say, like, when they casted the role, he was like, this kid's too old. Like, that was like his thing, but they casted who they casted, and he does a great job.
I think the other thing is, like, I'm so used to seeing people play above their age that I just, like, kind of assumed this was an even younger kid than that.
Yeah. What's his name? Jeremy Silvers.
Because he kind of acts like an iPad kid. Maybe that's why. Maybe because I feel like maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's more that kids nowadays just don't grow up that fast. So I feel like maybe this is what an iPad kid acts like for sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, like
Come and get me.
there's a little bit of age regression. There's a little bit of like doesn't really pay attention, and like I feel like he has no real care for the world other than like video game and good guy doll.
Play video game, hang out with my best friend Charles.
Yeah. I think maybe he's just never had a friend.
Probably not.
Stay close, stranger. The room awaits you after these messages.
I think that's part of it. He has a friend now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. And then he has to go hide in the closet.
Yeah, he goes to hide in the closet.
And Chucky finds him. I love this. I don't want to spoil my favorite Chucky line, but it happens right here. And I'll spoil it. Chucky, when he like enters the Colonel Cochran's office where he's hiding, he goes, "Tyler, where are you? Ollie Ollie oxen free. Get out here, you little son of a bitch." I love that. Because, like, throughout the movie, every time he swears, like, Tyler just goes, "Charles, stop swearing."
Yeah.
But he finds him in the closet. But thankfully, De Silva, who I don't think we talked about enough.
I love De Silva.
She's cool. And her redhead unnamed friend, yeah, they find them and make fun of him for playing with a doll,
Yeah.
I guess.
Kinda.
Because she's looking for Andy's files in the office because she wants to know more about him because she had a little crush.
She's got a little crush on Andy Barkley.
You know, I can't say that when me and you were first talking to each other, I ever thought to go look through files to find out more about you.
I don't even think I looked through your Instagram. I did not do my background research, actually, which is shocking.
It worked out.
Yeah, it definitely did, but most girls definitely do their background research. That's a heads up for you guys who are listening. Make sure your Instagram isn't like the worst thing you've ever seen on earth, because a girl's going to look at that and go, "This is shady."
Even though you didn't do that, I'm glad I cleaned up my Instagram shortly before we were together. Because my Instagram used to just be a cluster of like bad posts, like pictures of things and like one-word captions, like stuff like that. And I don't even remember, but probably embarrassing pictures of me.
Yeah.
Because I just never used it. But they put lipstick on Chucky, and he just Colonel Cochran's coming back, so they run away and leave him there, and he just gets up and he's like, "This means war." Like,
Yeah.
it's just like straight up, they could have played like the Looney Tunes theme after that and like
Right.
zoomed in on his head.
Yeah. That's all, folks.
But it's fitting because we get the most Looney Tunes ass kill in the movie after that.
This was I didn't find this that comical. I thought this was stupid. I thought this was really stupid.
Chucky, I'll just say it. Chucky scares a man to death.
I thought this was so dumb.
He jumps out with a knife and the man starts having a heart attack. And the only thing that saves it for me is Chucky also seeing how stupid it is, because he just goes, "Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me." Like, but yeah, so now he's dead. What a shame.
We really gave a
really
shit.
got to know him so
Yeah.
well. For the few scenes he was just there and being a guy. He was
Yeah.
supposed to be Arlie Ermy, by the way. I'll never forget this. They wanted Arlie Ermy for that role. And that's why his death was written that way, because it was supposed to be, the funny was supposed to be this scary, tough man,
Yeah.
like, is so scared that he has a heart attack. Like, but it's just kind of sad because, like, the actor in question
Definitely looks the right age to be having a heart attack.
Yes, he's like a bigger guy. He's like clearly like at least in his 70s.
Yeah.
at least late 60s, early 70s.
Right. Over 40 is the line, I feel like.
And so it's just kind of sad. You're just kind of like, oh
man.
damn. Like,
Like,
I guess it was a matter of time. Like,
yeah, like,
it
was weird.
But
Right before that, though, he threw Chucky in a trash can.
heads up, Chucky ends up in some funny situations in this movie. Like, he just kind of gets tossed, like, all over the place.
It's great.
Like, when they're carrying him out of the armory earlier in the movie, and he's just holding him by the arm, and his head bonks on the doorway. Like, I love that. So yeah, Colonel Cochrane's dead, and they have a little, like, they have a little prayer at mess the next morning for him.
Mhm.
But so Andy tries to convince Tyler that, you know, Charles is a bad guy, and Tyler, you know, being naive and a child, he's just like, you're just jealous because he's my best friend now and not your best friend.
Right.
Like, so yeah, you're not getting through to this kid, okay?
Nope.
Like, but
He does just give him a pocket knife, and
He
it's like,
does.
at least keep this.
But you know, for Chucky's latest prank, Whitehurst, as we discussed earlier, has to go get his hair cut. So we cut to him, the barber. He's cutting someone else's hair. No, he's cutting Whitehurst's hair, and he's just being mean to him.
Yeah.
He's like calling him a disgrace and stuff, and like nicking his ears on purpose.
Yeah.
Geez, no wonder Whitehurst wants to get out of here. Like,
Well,
granted, he's probably a little baby all the time.
I feel like this scene is what solidified for me, like, this guy's got rich parents who just sent him away to boarding school, because he's like, why are you even here? Why don't you just leave? And Whitehurst just kind of sits there, and it's just like,
he said, I would if I could.
Right.
And that's when he got that's why he gets nicked in the ear on purpose.
yeah, like, it feels like his parents sent him away and he really can't do anything about it. That's why I feel like people hate him, because he doesn't have any want to be in the military, really. And he's probably got rich as fuck parents. So it's like this, like, thing, and everybody hates him because he's rich as fuck and he doesn't want to be there. But not in the cool way.
But I love the fact that, like, when he leaves, like, Sergeant Botnick is cleaning up, and you can literally see Chucky
in the cabinet.
But when he reaches in the cabinet and accidentally knocks Chucky out, they play a jump scare sound anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I thought they were, like, trying to imply, like, yeah, there he is. Like, you can see him.
Like, we knew where he was. I thought he was gonna bite his hand or something, but no, he just knocks him out of the cupboard by accident. Like,
but then this guy, being the weird fetishist he is, he's like, your hair's looking a little shaggy, soldier. Like, so being the weirdo he is, he's gonna cut the doll's hair. Now, hot take, I think they should have let him do it.
I do too. I was so excited for this.
Like,
because then we could have gotten buzz cut Chucky for the rest of the movie.
like, they could have hammed it up more, because, like, after this, like, Chucky has the bandolier bullets around his chest.
Yeah.
Like, he could have had a buzz cut. Maybe he like put on some, like, war paint too.
That'd have been great.
That would have been so cool.
That's a missed opportunity.
It
Maybe
is.
Maybe it was something they wanted to do, but they didn't want to have to try to keep up the consistency of the doll's hair.
Maybe,
Like, they might have, or
the longer hair is harder for continuity than the shorter hair would be.
right, but or they already made the animatronic, and they didn't want to cut the hair from the animatronic.
In case of reshoots, maybe.
Reshoots, and you don't shoot a movie in order.
That's true. But it would have been cool.
It would have been so cool. I think it's a missed opportunity, but still, I understand.
We do get a short hair Chucky at some point.
I'm sure we do.
He's not. It's in the multiple Chuckies era. But yeah, so we do see it, but it's not crew cut Commando Chucky. I wanted to see crew cut Commando Chucky.
I think it's definitely a missed opportunity for sure.
But yeah, so he's gonna cut Chucky's hair. And Chucky, with the absolute zingers, comes to life and slits his throat with a razor and just goes, "Presto, you're dead."
Yeah.
It's definitely you.
It's great. It's great.
And like even this throat slitting is probably the most like graphic kill in the movie.
And it's not very graphic at all. It's very little blood.
I think it's mainly because of the actor's face when he's just like he has this like kind of face going on.
Well, I just feel like most of the time when we see throat slits and like slashers and things like that, it's immediate just gushing of blood. But this was like
ooze.
Yeah, it was like little droplets, and I was like, "This is okay."
But I mean, the scene that
I think the most gruesome thing we saw was when the trash compactor compacted that guy and his arm was out.
Yeah, but all you really see is the arm kind of a little bit.
Yeah,
you looked away, so you didn't even see it.
Yeah, that's true. I can't do that stuff.
But unfortunately for Whitehurst, he forgot something. So he comes back in and he sees the scene. I will say the scene that he walks in on is a lot more graphic than the actual kill because there's just blood everywhere and Chucky's standing there with not even the razor anymore. He has the clippers. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did notice that.
I love this because Chucky just goes, "Boo."
Yeah.
So now Whitehurst has seen Chucky and he's all shell shocked, but he's just in time for the war games, which is happening today, I guess. Because I guess, the logic is Colonel Cochran, he would have wanted us to do this anyway. He would have ordered us, actually, But, so...
It's
now we get into...
flag. It's capture the flag with paintball.
Yeah. It's capture the flag with paintballs, with, paintball cartridges in actual Springfield rifles.
Yeah.
Now, we get to something in the movie that is a really cool idea, but is not possible. Chucky switches out the red team's bullets, paint bullets, for real bullets.
Mm-hmm.
That is not possible with guns that are, meant for paint rounds, because the guns are altered to not be able to fire live ammunition.
Shocker.
They knew this, and it's honestly fair. They looked into this when they were making this movie, and they knew it wasn't possible, but they knew the average audience member wasn't gonna care / know. I don't care either.
Yeah,
because I think it's just kind of a fun and really fucking sadistic idea.
Yeah.
For I wish, sounds messed up, I wish more of them died in the result of this.
Jesus.
I wish it was more destructive. It would have been scarier.
I agree, because I feel like this movie just feels like an action movie. It doesn't feel like a horror movie.
Yeah.
So it would have added a more horrific element, I think.
Yeah. It would have really darkened the movie a bit.
Because this is definitely just
but not too. It wouldn't be too
romance,
far. And I think that's it, though. That's
movie.
probably the reason, is because they are teenagers. Maybe that's why they didn't want it to be a complete bloodbath. Because I bet it was. I don't know this for sure. I bet it was supposed to be. But yeah. So he switches out all the red team's paint rounds for live rounds. But you also have to take another logic leap that these they are cadets. They are mostly teenagers. But one of them, I guarantee at least one of them on red team, in the time between when the payoff for this happens and the bullets are loaded, one of them would have opened the chamber.
Yeah. That, and the other reason I don't think there would have been a bloodbath is the first person who got hit with a bullet, they would have been like, "Hey, stop. We're firing live ammunition. We're done. That's it."
Well, with how dark it was.
Yeah, but that is essentially what happened.
It is. The problem is the person who gets hit died immediately. So I'm saying maybe if I'm not even saying all of them are 30 people. I'm saying maybe 2 or 3 more.
No, yeah.
Got
maybe,
hit.
Yeah. But I just feel like it definitely wouldn't have been a real big bloodbath, because like it would have been caught.
And I think maybe you can look at it as Chucky's imagination being being greater than the actual like result.
Yeah.
You know, he's maybe a bit grandiose with his ideas.
Yeah.
And so I guess it checks out in that way, but yeah. Also, the logic leap though, that not one of them decided to like field strip or clean their gun.
Right. No, I agree.
And
I agree
like been
with
like,
you. I felt
guys,
like,
I have live rounds.
or fucking
And everyone
shoot
else
it
looks,
for fun.
oh, we all have live rounds.
Or just fucking shoot it for fun.
I doubt they'd do that.
At like a wall or at like the ground because they're bored as shit.
Yeah, I doubt they do that though, because they give away their position.
Yeah, that's true. But like clean it out and stuff. Yeah,
because they are playing war games. They're taking it pretty seriously.
There's a very, very small likelihood that it would have actually come to what it did.
But it's a movie, so you have to like. I just have to address these things because I'm like.
I feel like even that ammo would be heavier and the gun would feel heavier too.
Probably, but considering all the red team were handed live rounds, they probably wouldn't know that it was heavier or lighter.
Yeah, but they've been doing these war games every year.
Would you, if you're doing it every year though, would you have enough muscle memory of how heavy it should be that you'd remember? And also,
Probably.
it wouldn't be that noticeably heavier because you still have
when they
the paint rounds still have the brass and the powder, just minus the bullet. So it wouldn't be that much heavier.
I don't know.
We're overthinking
it. It's a movie, and it's a movie that didn't even care that they couldn't change out the paint rounds for the live rounds. So,
well, anyway, I do like Chucky's look with the bandolier. It's kind of cool.
It is cool.
Well, anyway, this whole it's kind of a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
But blue team has Da Silva, Whitehurst, Shelton, and Andy, but Tyler is on red team. So Andy can't stop thinking about Tyler. I mean, he stops thinking about it enough because he has to go make out with Da Silva real quick, which Chucky was very jealous of.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually Andy, he steals Shelton's map and goes AWOL to go find Tyler. And I love the scene when he's like sneaking through the red camp. What if he just got found and like shot?
That's what I was thinking.
And he would have died too.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He just sneaks into Tyler's tent, which he somehow knew was Tyler's tent, and asks the kid in there. The kid's like, he went AWOL with some guy named Charles.
Well, my guess is that the camps were set up the same way and the youngest kids were set up in the same tent.
I guess so.
So he kind of had an idea of which tent it
also,
would be.
I know this is just a movie decision because they probably didn't want to like hide, like do too much, but wouldn't they be wearing goggles at least? Like protective eyewear?
Probably like, but not at night, especially if they're not supposed to be camping out and then, you know.
But in reality, when War Games is played, yeah, you have to wear. I mean, I don't know. I've never done actual War Games, but I've played paintball and I've played airsoft. You have to wear eye protection at all times because if you got shot in the eye, you are now blind.
Yeah. Well, my assumption would be for the daytime they'd wear like big ass like sunglass type,
basically full seal protection. Because even Starship Troopers, when they play War Games, they had eye protection, I'm pretty sure. But anyway,
yeah.
We kind of get just like a massive like kind of trading of people that are like in different places.
Yeah.
Because first, Chucky loses his patience again. Because he's like, okay, we're alone now. We can play hide the soul, and like this 9-year-old's like, that game's stupid. I don't want to play it anymore.
Right.
And Chucky, just loses patience and immediately draws the knife.
Yeah.
And, completely loses his I'm your friend, advantage he had.
Right.
Because he's Chucky. He's impatient and he's not the brightest, honestly.
No, he's stupid. He's literally dumb.
But, so Tyler stabs him in the chest and gets away.
Yeah.
But we have a little prisoner exchange because Andy gets captured by the blue team again. They find him.
Yeah.
And he's trying to say, like, you know, this kid Tyler's in trouble, please. Like, and, but, you know, De Silva gets captured by Chucky, and then they capture Tyler, and then Chucky radios in, and he's all like, get Barkley on the line. Like, it's all just basically a setup. Chucky is like, I'm at the old Jeep. We can do a prisoner exchange. And then he calls the red team. He's like, blue team has been sighted by the old Jeep, because he wants to watch it happen when, you know, the bullets start flying. And I love this because blue team pulls up to the old Jeep and they just start shooting at the Jeep.
Yeah.
Like, which is, you know, they stop firing because they realize, wait, where's like everybody? Where's the red team at? But Shelton sees Chucky. Chucky gives him the finger, and Shelton's only reaction is just to go, fuck me.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, before Shelton can fully embrace his redemption arc, because I could feel it, I always think it's happening.
Right there. It was right there.
Because he gets shot in the chest with an actual rifle.
Yeah.
And Chucky's having way too much fun. He just starts gut bust laughing throughout the entirety of this firefight going on.
Yeah.
And, you know, eventually red team realizes they're firing live rounds. And they stop shooting.
But once that happens, Chucky had a grenade and he throws it while they're trying to figure out what to do about Shelton.
Honestly, one of my favorite Chucky visuals is him just saying sayonara suckers and throwing a grenade.
Throwing a grenade in slow motion.
In slow-mo.
Might we add.
But you know, I guess this is Whitehurst's character coming full circle, because he dives on the grenade to save everybody.
I was like, what the fuck?
So I guess it's like, you're not a wimp anymore, but you're dead.
Yeah, like, wow, yay.
Unfortunate. It's kind of sad. I think the reactions that the kids give is like, that's the thing that actually sells this scene for me, is like the reactions to what has just happened that like all the young adult actors give.
Yeah.
Is very convincing.
It's very convincing.
Because they are just pure panicked. Like the blue and red captains are like fucking shell shocked. Like they don't know what to do. They just like get a medic, like fucking freaking out, like crying. And I'm like, damn, this is kind of real.
Yeah.
That's why I like was like, I kind of wanted more, like, because it was honestly that whole little scene is like the highlight of the movie for me.
Yeah, because it's the only thing that feels real. It's the only thing that feels sort of consequential and more horror genre-ish. I feel like the rest of this, I've said it like 5 times, but the rest of this just feels like a action movie.
Yeah.
But young adult action
I'd say that this movie has the best ending setting out of all the movies, because they go to the fair.
It's giving...
They get to this fair.
Stranger Things.
Or, well, technically, doesn't that mean Stranger Things is giving Child's Play 3?
Yeah, well, whatever. I do think they use, like, basically the same setup for the fair.
Most fairs honestly use the same setup.
Yeah, but, like, there's supposed to be a fair in the 80s, late 80s. This is supposed to be a fair in the late 90s. They both have the same exact... I'm
going to say something crazy.
Gravity ride.
Fairs have not changed much.
Well, those gravity rides went out pretty quickly after the 80s. They don't have
ride?
The spaceship one. They don't. Those don't really exist anymore, and they haven't existed for a while. I know that because my mom.
At fairs.
Not the spaceship ones.
Oh, what's the spaceship ones?
They're the zero gravity rides, but they're
stick to the wall?
They're enclosed, and they look like a flying saucer.
Oh.
The enclosed flying saucer ones were low-key expensive, and also, like, you couldn't see what was going on, so it was kind of dangerous.
Well, fun fact, Mission Space at Epcot is just a Gravitron.
Crazy.
That's all it is, but with a screen.
Crazy.
It's literally a fair ride at Walt Disney World.
Crazy.
With bells and whistles.
But yeah, no, I see Gravitrons, but they're never the enclosed ones anymore.
Gotcha. That's why I was confused. I was
They're
like,
the
I see
bare
them all the time.
bones.
Like,
They're the bare bones, like,
well, this fair doesn't have to worry about budget
yeah.
because, long story short, Chucky catches up with Tyler and he now has a gun.
Well, and also the fair setup is very similar to the setup that they have for Stranger Things.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's like they have a fair plot that they use that uses a very similar
To my
setup
knowledge,
every
this
time.
was just a real fair.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's probably a permanent fair, and Stranger Things might have used the same one. It's possible.
Maybe.
Because there are permanent fairgrounds like that are just, I guess you'd call them just an amusement park at that point,
Yeah.
but you know there's a difference. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
Whoa, lost my train.
Yeah. you're good.
But this is the highest budget fair of all time because suddenly there's this massive indoor roller coaster haunted house.
Yes.
And I want this to exist.
Me too.
'Cause if I recall, it's not real. They built it for the movie.
I mean, that checks.
But to me, it looked like a functioning ride.
Yeah.
Unless those were like just dummies on it. Like it looked like real people.
They did look like real people,
Hold
but I
on.
don't think
You-
they
you-
ever
you
showed
keep
them
talking.
going on the, like, there was a spiral part of it, and I don't think, or like a helix going down, and I don't think they ever showed people going down that part. But the rest of it, yeah. I mean, the straight track part might have been real and functioning, but yeah. So Tyler has run away to this fair place. And immediately, good boy Tyler goes to the little lost and found / fair police security tent and is like, you gotta help me, like my friend's after me. And the cop's like trying to help him and is like, well, you know, I know how it feels when a friend betrays you, whatever. You want a piece of gum? All right, well, I'm going to call Kent and, you know, get somebody to get you home. But here's this toy I found. I think you'd love it. And it's Chucky. Bum, bum, bum. Then we cut away to,
Oh, man.
oh my God, you know what we forgot to talk about?
It was built. The Devil's Lair ride in Child's Play 3 was shot on stage 28 at Universal Lot. And it was basically a sound stage. And they built like this. They built the ride there. And
That's
it's
cute.
just gone forever.
Yeah, that checks out.
Part of me was like, I want it to be a real ride. And I want it to be able to be ridden. But I knew as a coaster enthusiast, I would have known if it was real. Like,
yeah.
but sorry.
No, you're
What did we
okay.
not talk about?
We forgot to talk about the kiss.
No, I talked about it very briefly.
You did? Did
yeah,
I miss
I
it?
said, yeah, they're camping. And then, you know, Andy's really worried about Tyler, but he has to go make out with the Silva real quick.
Oh,
and
I
Chucky
missed
was really
that.
jealous.
I missed that. Yeah. Because that's also...
It's not the worst romance plot in the world.
Oh, no, but it definitely is part of what contributes to the teenage,
Oh, no, yeah.
like, kind of movie.
If you're going to have a story of Andy as a teenager, you know they were going to put a romance subplot in it.
Well, of course, but you know, the vibe is not right for the movie.
Where were you in the Devil's Lair?
Oh, I wasn't.
Well, I was researching.
I wasn't. I was talking about how they got to the fair and how the cop handed Tyler Chucky.
Yeah, because Chucky somehow beat him to the fair and assumed he'd go to the security office.
Which-
Well, then the guy said he found him. So
Yeah, so he might have just gone and played doll.
But
Wait a minute. Which came out first? Toy Story or
I know Andy. Child's Play did.
Child?
Yeah, I know. I have always wondered if it was a reference.
It's gotta be a reference.
Because
I was
two very different types of movies about a kid named Andy whose doll comes to life.
Like, I really was gonna say, like, because I was about to say, like, he plays doll, like he does Andy's Coming. What?
Stay close, stranger. The room awaits you after these messages.
But yeah, what were you saying?
I was gonna say he does the playing doll thing, like Andy's Coming, like the Andy's Coming challenge.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's so
Toy Story
okay.
totally ripped it off.
I feel like that's at least where they got the name. I feel like that's at least where they got to. That sounds like Pixar too. That sounds like something Pixar would do. It's a very Pixar thing. Like, oh, we like this horror movie.
Aww.
What?
Andy was named after Andy Lucky, the son of legendary animator Bud Lucky, Pixar's 5th employee and the creator of Woody. It's just a coincidence.
Damn it.
Well,
Someone at Pixar was like, oh, this is
I want to
kinda
talk
funny.
about the Devil's Lair.
Okay, then talk about the Devil's Lair.
This is the coolest ride and the coolest set ever in a horror movie.
Yeah. So Chucky leads Tyler in there. Now, go.
I don't even know where to start. I want this to exist. It has a mountain of skulls in the middle. Okay. It has a giant Grim Reaper statue with a scythe that is apparently real.
Yeah.
What I'm getting is like, maybe it's just an enclosed. I'm gonna get coaster enthusiast Schwarzkopf like wildcat.
Yeah, I was thinking that. It felt like an enclosed wildcat.
Because it like has similar cars, a similar track design.
Yeah.
And but it's like it's so cool. I want this to exist because like the cars like come through slowly like this graveyard and the little jump scares of like skeletons coming out of coffins and stuff.
It's way too high budget for this little park.
Oh, it's way too high budget. This would be at like a Universal. Like,
yeah.
Well, I mean, it was technically at Universal. It was on the Universal lot.
Yeah, it was on the Universal lot.
On a soundstage. The same soundstage used for Phantom of the Opera was something I saw, which I don't know if that's important at all.
Oh God, I was gonna do it, and then it sounded really bad. I take it back.
Phantom of the. That was very nice.
Thank you.
But yeah. So sorry, I just had to gush about it.
Yeah.
We kind of get a wild goose chase.
Yeah, basically.
A lot of near misses with the coaster train and like, a bunch of just terrible safety going on.
And Andy and that chick that I just forgot the name of when I started the
De Silva
sentence.
gets shot in the leg.
Yeah, they catch up with them, and De Silva gets shot in the leg by Chucky.
But Tyler just keeps getting himself into funny situations because he's like, I know, I'll ride this little demon flying thing on a wire and I'll get on top of the mountain. But Chuck, I love this shot because Chucky follows him by grabbing the legs of it.
Yes,
and he's
so
just,
funny.
He's just going up and he's like kicking his feet.
Yeah.
But Andy sees him. But Tyler he gets knocked out by the demon like flying thing.
Yeah.
On top of the mountain perfectly for Chucky just to be like, okay, time to do my thing. Oh yeah. Chucky got his face sliced off by the scythe. That's why I meant when I said it's apparently real.
Yeah, it's
It's one of my favorite Chucky looks.
Cool.
It's one of my favorite looks.
It's really cool.
Two-Face Chucky is what he's kind of known as in the fandom.
He does look like Two-Face.
But Chucky starts doing his chant, and I swear this chant is a plot device that takes as long as it needs to.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
Like,
because half the time he just says the
"Allez portez boissez dambala."
Yeah. And then goes, "Grant me the power, I beg of you," and then it just.
Because there's a whole chant, right?
Do the chant, James.
Ade dui dambala, give me the power, I beg of you. Live mercy de boishayo, sakuzente ame poide more. I lost my. I forget what's after that. Mortile leve cordem avose, ale porte boise dambala times 7.
See, I knew just saying "do it" would make you do it. I knew it would work.
I told her I knew it, or I said I used to know it, which is slang for I probably still do.
Yeah.
I just am not gonna say it.
Yeah.
But the times 7 was like made up in my brain, because here's the thing: that last line, the "Allez portez boissez dambala."
They say it as many times as they want.
Yeah, until like whatever happens.
Yeah.
You know, because in the first movie, I think he only says it like 3 times at the end of the chant, and then his soul gets transferred. But in this movie, I swear, as Andy's trying to like crawl his way to get a shot, he says that like 18 fucking times.
Yeah, he says it a ton.
I'm thinking, like, shouldn't he have done it by now?
Isn't it done? Isn't it done?
But Andy shoots off his arm, and then he finally gets after giving himself some advice that was given to him earlier by De Silva, he gets a shot in the heart.
Mm-hmm.
In the har.
In the har. He finally gets him in the har.
But it didn't kill him. I guess it doesn't work anymore. I guess he must have just missed the har.
He must have shot just the chest, not the har.
Not the har.
Not the har.
Because of course he's not dead.
Yeah, there's gotta be more Chucky.
Andy gets up to try and help Tyler, and Chucky jumps on his back, and he's doing in the old, I'm on your back and yelling routine. But as
Very
Tyler,
Muppet.
like, he's holding Tyler from falling, and Tyler hands him the knife. He just really so easily
just slices off his hand
and yeets him into the fan.
It's great.
And his body gets absolutely, completely, utterly obliterated by the fan. If you know, he comes back. They had to reduce how much he got obliterated by the fan in the next movie. Like, you have to just kind of accept that, it wasn't actually that bad.
Does he have like the Twilight vampire thing going on where it doesn't matter how many pieces?
No.
They'll just crawl back together,
No.
so you have to either burn them or like...
Well, the next movie is the debut of his stitched up look.
Oh.
So that's why they basically imply that he basically just got stitched back together. Not imply, you like see it happen. So they imply there's a lot less pieces than you are shown in this movie.
Yeah, right.
I will say I like the little continuity, though there is a little bit of continuity, because the face slice
stays.
That angle of the slice is stitched in completely, pretty much how it was like cut off.
That's pretty cool.
So at least they tried their best to make it look normal.
Yeah.
Like look believable.
Yeah.
Like maintain some continuity with it, but like he gets absolutely completely obliterated.
Yeah.
But now everyone's okay, and Andy's hauled off to jail.
Yeah.
And then roll credits.
Roll credits, because they don't want to go into the complexities of that one.
Yeah, because here's the thing. You look back at it, there's no actual evidence that Andy was responsible for anything that happened.
Right,
so he's
like,
going to get off.
The thing is, like, that's what made me feel the least amount of anxiety in this movie versus the other ones. Is like there's a lot of times that Andy is there witnessing death and destruction and shit in the first two, or is around it a lot. So like it can be drawn back to Andy. But in this one, a lot of it happened while he was not even aware. So there's no correlation between Andy and all the killings unless there's a psycho killer doll following him around.
I think it's just like, and because he does say at the end, it's okay. I've been here. It's like she asked, like, as he's about to get hauled off, are you going to be okay? He says, it's okay. I've been here before.
Yeah.
It's like, how many times is this going to be suspected for mass murder? Okay.
I feel bad for him.
I do too. And it doesn't get any better. I feel bad for, like, the thing I will say about modern Chucky that makes me kind of upset, but it's also realistic, is when we do finally get to see Andy again, because he's absent for the next 2 films. He basically is a ultra paranoid, very reclusive, traumatized mess. And while that may be realistic, it just kind of saddens me that, because he seems at the end of this movie pretty resolute, but it just doesn't go that way. I do like the details that, like, we do eventually learn that his mother is finally let out, and he's talking to her on the phone and stuff in one scene, and she actually ends up married to Detective Norris. And it's like, okay, little nice things there, but Andy is basically a wreck.
Yeah, which isn't shocking.
A wreck, and he's lonely. He's like, and has no social skills. Like, it makes me sad.
I was gonna say, while like it doesn't exactly feel like right for the Chucky movies to leave Andy behind, like this feels like we gotta stop picking on Andy. It ain't gonna work anymore. So like, I was gonna say they need to leave Andy behind a little bit, because I feel like you can do different things with the concept then. He
does get a break for 3, technically 2 movies. Because he appears as an end credit scene, basically, because that had to happen, I guess. But he gets a break, but it just sucks knowing that he did not do much recovery in his break. If anything, massive regression. Yeah,
well, that doesn't shock me.
Yeah,
poor kid.
But that's Child's Play 3 movie.
We did it.
The original trilogy has been completed.
Congrats us.
Woo! And next week will be, of course, Bride of Chucky.
No.
I was going to do that because I was going to say then the week after will be Seed of Chucky.
Oh.
I like Bride of Chucky.
You like Bride of Chucky?
I love it, actually.
I'm scared of Bride of Chucky. I'm not ready.
It's honestly one of my favorites.
Really?
Seed of Chucky is an abomination, and God. I'm so sorry that I have to make you watch it. But anyway, if you'd like to connect with us and talk about all these movies, you can head over to discord.gg/Jumperscape. We have a lot going on in there. We have a lot of fun. If you like video games, we organize regular play sessions and game nights and all kinds of neat, interesting stuff. And if you love what we do and you'd like to see us do more with it, you can go to patreon.com/Jumperscape. Yeah. No Q&A today, unfortunately.
Oh, I actually was going to read a couple of our Spotify Q&A answers.
Oh.
After you were done with Q&A, but if you don't want to do Q&A, that's fine.
We're not doing Q&A today because we're going to do that.
Yay! So I'm scrolling through a couple of them because I'm trying to find the most answers on some of our episodes, but this question was from the First Omen episode. I only have 3 responses, so it'll be pretty quick. And the question was, what is your favorite horror reboot slash prequel slash requel? The first answer from Yami. Yeah, hold on. Try.
Kitty!
Hi, Kitty. Try to read that.
Yamilanqui.
Okay, from them, they say FNAF. Lol.
That's not a prequel or a equal or a.
Well, let's. I think maybe that can count as a reboot, sort of. Hi, Kitty. She wants to come see me. Let her come see me. Sorry, the kitty is so distracting. The kitty is the best. You like them.
We like to have fun here.
Okay. But yeah, it can count as kind of like a reboot because it's like its own retelling of the original story. And then Daniel Dumpweed says the Candyman reboot was really good and a great way to introduce into that franchise, and the effects are amazing. What do you have to say about this, James?
I actually haven't seen it yet.
Oh.
I've been waiting.
Okay.
Been waiting.
Well, we'll have to give that one a watch because
we have to watch the original first.
Yeah. That's a pretty good review we got there. And then Q Dorian, thank you, says technically you can say that the FNAF movie is a reboot to do it being a completely different story in its own timeline. So technically I would say FNAF. So those were fun. Wait, I want to look at the next one, see if we have any more fun answers. Let's look at the one before. Yeah. So for The Omen, what's your favorite religion-based horror film? Daniel Dumpweed said this one is easily in my top 10 or top 3 horror films, The Omen. And I love the way both this and the remake do the story. Also, the soundtrack is amazing. Yes, it is.
So twist,
and then Q Dorian says, sadly, due to the fact that my parents can be pretty strict, I haven't watched many horror movies, and even less in the religion-based horror movies. The closest I have watched to that topic is Insidious.
That's a good one.
That's what I'm thinking of, right? That's the Darth Maul jump scare, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think my favorite religion-based horror film has to be. That would be The Exorcist. Would count, right?
Yeah.
I think it would be The Exorcist.
I'm gonna say something crazy.
Say something crazy?
Favorite is in best, right?
It's personal best for you. You wrote the question, James.
I'd say. I'd say, for me right now. I hear it's weird. I wouldn't call it my favorite or even what I'd say is the best, like objectively, but it meets in the middle in that it's the most effective religious horror movie I've seen in a long time, and it is The First Omen.
Oh, really?
That movie made me feel away.
Yeah, that movie was really scary. That movie was traumatizing.
We were humbled when we came out of that movie theater.
We were not prepared for what we saw. We were not prepared.
In hindsight, I should have known. I should have known, the content of the movie, but I didn't think it'd be that extreme.
I definitely didn't think it would go to that extreme. But if you want to know how much that disturbed us,
it's the only episode that has a TW at the beginning.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So give it a listen if you want to know how disturbed we were by The First Omen. But thanks for responding to our Q&A questions on Spotify. I wanted to kind of include you guys here on the podcast because
I hope you like this new segment that I just found out about, because we will do it now every week. Why not?
Yeah, it'll be fun. Oh, we didn't do our favorite Chucky lines from the movie either.
Darn. Well, I guess I already said mine, but I will say it again. My favorite is still Ollie Ollie Oxen Free. Get out here, you little son of a bitch.
I think my favorite of the ones I remember, because I wrote them down from this movie, was nothing like a strangulation to get the circulation going.
That's such a good one.
It's great.
He just says it so casual.
Yes.
Like this is a normal thing to say out loud.
Yes, he does.
Oh, man.
Alrighty.
Well, that was Child's Play 3.
That was Child's Play 3. And our Spotify Q&A.
Patreon.
Let's go Patreon.
I'm going to do this real fast, okay? They're in the walls, they're in the walls, they're in the fucking walls with Soda. Jacob Adlam, Scion Esports. It's default 456. Dark Salad 42. Dark Salad 42. It's Dick Hammerbush, Hounds of Meath, introducing Jumper Soda, including some flavors, including Connor's Brute Shot Cherry, James Covenant Cola, Shane's Sublime Strike, Austin's Plaz, Margarita Ortega. Fuck, I've lost my spot. It's Soda Week, baby. Also, Pepsi is the best. Mando, Margarita Ortega, Mr. Shifter, James Zealot, Seth Rutherford, Spartan Dave, Captain Varco, UNSC Light Walk Softly, Cool Blazer, H Ghost, Last Dawn Reactions, Mo Maggot Y'all, Spartan Hubuko, G156, Vermin, Addy Criminal, Batman, Guys It Didn't Work, Shane Got Me, Big Feet the Pondered, Connor Clark, Dapper Dame, Dylan, I Want to Drown in Gallons of Wet and Warm Soda, Lactating Gator, Lactating Milk MT, Linda Marie, Onyx X Diablo, Sergeant Forge's Chipotle Shotgun, Lactation of Mercy. When I joined the Corps, we didn't have any fancy tanks. Yodeling Pickle. We had Yodeling Pickle. And we have 2 library hosts and a Connor for the whole I'm bad at reading these long ones, guys. Okay, I'm sorry. Brendan Pfeiffer, Sky Cairo, Izmaz Dawes Kadeedle, Eliza, JX O'Malley, Keith G07. Shane, we need to talk about your future at Jumperscape. I don't think it's working out. Cheyenne can validate you on your way out. Slapnuts Soda Drinker Pro, the professional drinker of soda. Smooth Brain Slinger, and with a big iron on his hip.
With a big iron on his hip.
Big iron on his hip. Tucker ODC, Austin Taylor. Austin, thank you for the cuddles last night. It's been a while since I felt the warmth of another human. Austin, I'm lighting the fire. I'm not Austin, guys. I know you, most of you probably don't even, I know like most of you are library listeners, but please, if you hear this and you're in the council Patreon names, can you guys change it on Tuesdays so I don't have to read a bunch of Austin ones? Big old motherfucking soda boy, Damian Groth, Dr. Lactator, Dragon Eye, Drink Pop and Prepare Connor. Linda was never real. It's always me. I am Linda. I am the wraith that took over the Ginger Boy Head Ass. Hayden, your MA5B shots can't hit the broadside of a barn. Hamilton, help Austin. I'm stranded on Reach. Lactated saying Healy Soda. Mando 2.0. Oh, Cheyenne, bring us some soda. Pity 104.
What happened with soda?
Austin did a live stream where he played a game called Soda Drinker something. Austin! Yeah? What was the soda game you played? Soda Drinker Pro. That's why they're all soda themed. The wettest soda you've ever seen. The Goob, X3chian, Skenji, Claude Spark 5970, Daniel Dumpweed, Garrus Vicarian, Halo the Guy, Iscary, Kiri, Kyle Hooley, Shane, look what you've done to my bloody shed man. Ungoy Sad Sniffle, I watched them Glass Balajo, and of course, Warm Apple Swouse. Thank you so much for joining us on Patreon. We really appreciate your support.
We love you guys. Thank you.
Just go on to patreon.com/Jumperscape. Plenty of cool benefits. And I swear soon there will be benefits related to 237. A lot of them are library at the moment.
We are working on it.
We are working on it. We
Actively.
are a much younger show. But we will get there. If you want to chat, maybe even throw in some of your ideas for things we could do on the Patreon, you can go to discord.gg/Jumperscape today and you can chat with all of us about all the things you want to see here on Room 237. I don't know where the accent came from.
Somewhere.
But, yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us this evening, stranger. If you enjoyed your time with us, please consider supporting us at patreon.com/Jumperscape or join the community at discord.gg/Jumperscape. We thank you for your listenership and hope you enjoyed.